In today's video, we're going to look at another unsolved mystery that has puzzled people all around the world. This one really is creepy. We still do. You won't know what happened, and neither did the police or the investigators who looked into it. It's about a town that vanished. That's right, an entire town simply vanished. People were there one day and then they were gone the next. It's like the town was completely wiped out overnight. But that's not even the scariest part. The scariest part is that no one has ever found out what happened or why this could have happened. They just disappeared. We're going to get into everything you need to know about this case, so stay with me. Alaska is a very big state, and it's also very sparsely populated. You would think that if an entire town had vanished, it would be pretty easy to figure out where they went. Not in this case. The fact that this story is still unsolved more than 40 years later is very creepy. It gives us goosebumps just thinking about it. Let's start with how this town came to be. Gold was discovered in the area in the early 1900s, and by 1970, a gold mining company built a small town for its employees and their families. It was called Ophir Creek, and it was made up of a general store, some housing, and a school. In 1968, the name was changed to Ramen to honor a local Native American chief. Later on, the town grew to have about 200 residents and was even incorporated as a city in 1986. For decades, the people of Ramen lived peaceful lives. Then, in 1994, everything changed forever. On February, a pilot named Joseph Trento flew his plane over the town. He was doing a routine check of the area when he noticed something odd. From the air, he saw the town, and it appeared completely deserted. He didn't think much of it at first. Maybe everyone had just gone to work, or maybe they had all gone to the shops. But when he flew past the houses, he realized that wasn't the case. Everything suggested that the residents had simply left their homes and never returned. He landed his plane nearby and then walked around the town. He looked inside the homes, and they were just as he had seen them from the air, abandoned and frozen in time. Clothes were still on the beds, dishes were on the tables, and books were open on the desks. It was almost as if the townspeople had vanished into thin air. Trenton continued to search for signs of life, but found nothing. Eventually, he decided to head back to his plane. As he did, he noticed something strange. There were no tire tracks leading away from the town. It was as if whoever had left Ramen had done so without taking a single vehicle. When Trent phoned the local sheriff, he was told that there had been no recent reports of missing persons from the town. He was also informed that there had been no disturbances reported in the area. This only added to the mystery. Why would an entire town of people just leave their homes and not take anything with them? Where did they go? What had scared them off? These questions plagued Trento as he flew back to Anchorage. As soon as he landed, he reported what he had seen to the authorities. Within hours, a team of investigators and troopers were on their way to Ram. When they arrived, they were shocked by what they found. The town was indeed deserted. Every building was empty, and there was no sign of a struggle. As the investigation continued, more and more strange details emerged. For example, all of the clocks in the town were frozen at 3:30 p.m. Also, there were no footprints in the snow leading away from the town. This suggested that whoever had left Ramen had done so without going outside. But if they hadn't gone outside, then how had they left? There were no roads in or out of the town. The only way to get in or out was through the air or by traveling on foot. But again, there were no footprints in the snow. Investigators also searched the homes of the townspeople, but they found nothing that could explain what had happened. There was no evidence of a crime or a struggle. It was as if the townspeople had simply decided to leave. But why? And if they had planned to leave, why had they left behind all of their belongings? One theory was that the townspeople had been abducted by aliens. Some believed that the government was involved in a conspiracy to cover up the truth. However, none of these theories could be proven, and the investigation eventually went cold. In the years since the case was opened, many people have come forward with their own theories as to what happened. Some believe that the townspeople were taken by a cult, while others believe that they were victims of a serial killer. Still, others believe that they simply left town. but that the police are covering up the truth because they could unhandle the embarrassment of an entire town just disappearing. But what does the data say? Well, here's what we know for sure. Between 1994 and 1995, the population of Ram went from 183 to 0. Over the course of 1 year, every single person that lived in the town left, and no one knows why. We know that between the years of 1993 and 1994, the population of Ram actually grew by 11%. In 1993, there were 165 people living in Ram, and by 1994, that number had risen to 183. So, at the time, the town was growing, which makes it even stranger that all of the residents left sometime between February and March of 1995. We also know that a census worker visited the town on January 1995 to ask people some questions about the upcoming census. All of the residents answered his questions and seemed to be happy. Nothing about them or their answers suggested that they were planning on leaving town anytime soon. Then there's the issue of the phone lines. On March 1995, a reporter from the Anchorage Daily News tried calling a woman named Dolores Campbell, who lived in the town of Ram. She didn't answer the phone. The reporter thought it was strange, but he didn't think much of it. He just assumed that she wasn't home or that she didn't want to talk to him. But what he did know was that the phone line to Ram had been disconnected in December of 1994. Yet he was still able to get through to her house. And when he asked her why she had disconnected the phone, she replied that she hadn't. This meant that someone had intentionally disconnected the phone line so that she wouldn't be reached. But who would do such a thing, and why? Finally, we know that a road crew checked the roads in and out of Ram on February 1995. They reported that the roads were in good condition and that there was no evidence of any vehicles having passed through recently. This suggests that the residents of Ram had not fled town. They must have left in some other way. But let's explore some of the most popular theories surrounding the disappearance of the town. First, we have the serial killer theory. This theory is based on the fact that the residents of Ram all but disappeared overnight. If they had been abducted by a serial killer, it is possible that they could have been taken to a remote location where they are still held captive. However, there is no evidence to support this theory, and it is also unlikely that a single person could have abducted all of the residents of a small town without being caught. The alien abduction theory is also popular. Some believe that the residents of Ram were taken by aliens, but there is no evidence to support this theory either. The government conspiracy theory is similar to the alien abduction theory. Some believe that the government is involved in a conspiracy to cover up the truth of what happened to the residents of Ram. However, there is no evidence to support this theory either. So what do you think happened to the town of Ram? Do you think the residents were abducted by aliens, taken by a serial killer, or is there another explanation entirely? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What's your opinion on the case? What do you think happened to the people of Ram? Is there anything we missed? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you liked this video, make sure to subscribe and share it with others. Thanks for watching.